Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explain here, bringing you guys another Boruto Naruto Next Generations discussion on the fallout from Boruto Chapter 75. And as we all know, Chapter 75 has shaken up the entire Boruto story with all the major bombshells, from the reveal of the Uzumaki God to the reveals that Delta was Amado's daughter and that Delta is a clone of his daughter, to the way that he stated he was going to use Kawaki to revive his daughter. But the one thing that really stood out to a lot of people was Boruto's vision about the future and the emphasis on his eyes during that sequence where Boruto saw Mitsuki in Sage Mode staring down Kawaki, who had blood on his face and on the ninja tech on Kawaki's body. This has led to a lot of people wondering what was it that made Mitsuki so enraged, and most importantly, why was Kawaki's face covered in blood? And the most common answer that most fans have come to is that this is the moment we've all been waiting for. Boruto has gotten the scar over his eye. Now, we all know that the fandom has had numerous things that they've had questions on ever since 2016 when the first chapter of Boruto dropped. Why was Konoha destroyed? Who was Kawaki? What are the markers on Boruto's body? And why did Boruto have a scar over his eyes? Some of those questions we got the answers to, and with other questions we never got answers to. But this latest Boruto manga chapter has teased we might be getting the answer to how Boruto got that scar over his eye. Edgy teen Boruto is something that we've all waited forever to see. The fan theories on how Boruto's gotten the scar over his eye have only grown more epic in proportions in terms of creativity from the fandom the longer that we waited to see it, to the point where it's rivaling the theories back in the day on who was in the final coffin and who was Toby, which has some very wacky fan theories. But Boruto's scar is beginning to rival even that, to the point where some believe it can't live up to expectations, which isn't a certainty. But what is a certainty is that I'll likely mention something about praising Lady Tenten, the destroyer of all worlds, the first of her name, the first coming of the Uzumaki princess, or I'll likely mention Established Titles, which is going to be the sponsor of today's video. Established Titles is a fun and novel way to preserve the natural woodlands of Scotland while helping with global reforestation efforts. It's a project based in historic Scottish custom where landowners are referred to as lairds, or lords and ladies in English. With Established Titles, you get at least 1 square foot of dedicated land on a private estate in Edelston, Scotland, and an official certificate with the crest, which has a unique plot number to show you your land. Established Titles plants a tree with every order they receive and work with charities like One Tree Planet and Trees for the Future to support global reforestation efforts. Just as Naruto gets to call himself Lord Hokage, you can officially call yourself Lord or Lady, which, now that I have this certificate calling me a lord, it's going to be on my desk, and everybody who comes to my office has to call me the Lord. And you can get it on your credit card or your plane tickets, or you sussy bakas can even use it on your dating profiles. If you go for the romantic route, you can also purchase the couples pack, which comes with adjoining plots of land. The first 200 people purchasing the title pack using my link will effectively be next to my plot, within a few minutes of walking distance from it. Depending on how many of you guys want to become a lord or a lady, we can build our own little Naruto Explained kingdom. My late grandmother, who just passed away, not only loved flowers but also trees as well, so I'm gonna purchase one to honor my late grandmother. It makes an amazing last minute gift. Established Titles is actually running an early Black Friday sale, plus if you use the promo code EXPLAIN, you get an additional 10% off. Go to establishedtitles.com/explain to get your gift and help support the channel. Thank you again to Established Titles for sponsoring today's video. So how likely is it that Boruto's gotten the scar from Kawaki in the near future, and what impact does this have on the story moving forward, and is there any foreshadowing for this? Well, I definitely think that there's a strong possibility for this, and there's actually been some narrative foreshadowing for everything we've seen so far, with Kawaki versus Mitsuki, to the blood on Kawaki's face possibly being Boruto, and the strong tensions that were shown during the cliffhanger for the chapter itself. With Mitsuki versus Kawaki, and the idea of Mitsuki being so enraged seeing Kawaki attack Boruto and leaving that scar on his face is something that feels extremely likely. We've already seen Kawaki deviate from the way of the ninja during the battle with Team 7, and how Kawaki had moments where you could tell he was missing having the karma seal, which he now has back. But most importantly, Mitsuki said to himself that if he ever met the person who harmed Boruto, or if he'd have been there when Boruto was harmed and someone tried to kill him, Mitsuki said he wouldn't be able to control himself or control his bloodlust. Mitsuki was already suspicious of the story that was told to he and Sarda about Boruto's scar on his chest and the spread of Boruto's karma, mentioning it made zero sense for Code to try killing Boruto if the goal was to feed Boruto alive to the Tento, which made perfect sense from a logical standpoint, and nothing less is to be expected of someone as observant of Mitsuki. After all, he is Orochimaru's son. However, this would also mean that if Mitsuki is as enraged as he appears to be, to the point where he's using Sage transformation for an extended period of time despite the potential risks that come from it, it means that he's been worked up to such a high level, which his dialogue does make pretty clear is the case, which opens up the door that Mitsuki knows the truth. He knows that Kawaki not only attacked Boruto, but actually killed Boruto in the process, and the karma is the only reason why Boruto is still alive. If you combine that with potentially seeing Kawaki attack Boruto again, leaving blood oozing out of his eye via the scar, damaging Mitsuki's little precious Jogan princess, that's enough of a tipping point to have Mitsuki get loose on Kawaki, which interestingly enough, Mitsuki is going to be fighting Kawaki in his transformed karma state, which is going to be very telling in terms of power to see how far Sage mode Mitsuki has to go before reaching the Otsutsuki tier. As for why Kawaki would attack Boruto, there's more foreshadowing for this. Ignoring the obvious split that takes place during the flash forward sequence, we have the issue of Kawaki has been shown being more suspicious of Boruto and these small hints that have been sprinkled throughout the manga since he killed Boruto. When he heard Boruto was back to life and that the karma was the reason why, there was a look of shock, but the way that his eye activated immediately afterwards could be a sign that Kawaki was preparing to cross another line if need be, which in order to protect Naruto, we know Kawaki has no problem doing so. When he saw Boruto in the Hokage office, the side glance he gave Boruto after seeing him for the first time, but most importantly, Kawaki saw Momoshiki manifest outside of Boruto's body, but he's yet to act on that information, and he's yet to reveal that he knows what happened. Now we have Momoshiki and Boruto sharing the same brain, with their thoughts being interlinked, and Boruto appears to be using some of the powers that belong to Momoshiki, and we have the moment where Momoshiki said to Boruto that he will give up control to Momoshiki, and Momoshiki said that time is looming. Momoshiki himself has made clear he doesn't want Kawaki to know that their minds are linked because he doesn't want to fight Kawaki again, which is a clear foreshadowing of what's about to happen. They're very loose threads, but they're also loose threads that can be tied together to reveal that Kawaki views Boruto as a potential danger that needs to be handled, which is going to be very interesting to see play out in the future because the only thing missing is what causes Kawaki to attack Boruto. If it's Momoshiki taking over the body, that brings up the question of what happened to make Boruto give up control to Momoshiki, because as Momoshiki said, the moment Boruto loses everything is coming soon. It's right around the corner soon, and when it happens, Boruto will lose the will to live and give up control of his body. Could Team 7 stand up against Kawaki to prevent him from killing Boruto? Likely, because they're smart enough to know that if Boruto were to die again, this time it would be for keeps, because there will be no more data for Momoshiki to use to restore Boruto's damaged organs like before. That's enough incentive to cause Sarada and Mitsuki to go hunting down Mitsuki. It's also going to benefit from the fact that the whole reason Kawaki killed Boruto in the first place was Kawaki left the village without consulting anyone, which led to Boruto leaving to chase after him, and the whole situation is what led to Momoshiki taking control and forcing Kawaki to kill Boruto. That's gonna make Team 7 emotional, on top of the fact that Boruto lied to them about the truth, and when it comes to emotion, human emotion in particular, logic goes out the window and people lose all sense of reasoning, which could be the case here. It also serves as a physical severing of all the ties between Boruto and Kawaki, a point of potential no return, at least when it comes to the same bridge that was crossed by Kawaki, because that bridge is going to be burned down. Now, Boruto is a gateway shonen, so there's going to be a redemption period and there's going to be another bridge that appears in order to cross, and that will lead Kawaki to going back across that bridge and back into everyone's good graces again. We saw it with Sasuke, but this has the potential to be a good way to kickstart the drama that leads to a flash forward sequence. There's a lot that we don't know in terms of what leads to that moment of Boruto's vision, but the table has been set here, so it's a matter of, does Masashi Kishimoto pull a classic Kishimoto move and troll fans by subverting their expectations, or does he go the obvious route by having Kawaki versus Team 7 be triggered by Kawaki nearly killing Boruto again, presumably after Momoshiki takes control of his body? Which do you guys think is the case? While you think that over, click here to watch my Boruto Chapter 75 review, or click here for this Kryptonian Saiyan video.